up there to use for bird counts, so they count as many of the different types of birds that they can see throughout the day. They keep track of all of that information. They're also up there to take weather, so they take the weather multiple times a day and compare that to different other data points. They have a really good vantage point up there, so they have a nice little ladder that gets them up there. Around the edges of the island, we also have bird blinds. Those are those kind of rudimentary rectangular shaped structures with window cutouts. About the 8 o'clock area into the 7 o'clock area, up on that large boulder, you can see those cormorants with their wings outspread, drying off. Puffin just buzzed the boat on the 9 o'clock side. Sometimes we get some really close sightings of them when they're in flight. So remember to look up and around as well. Now those bird blinds are used by our researchers in what we call stints. Sometimes these stints are re-sight stints where our researchers are sitting in there. They're looking for ID bands on the puffins and terns' legs, sometimes even a guillemot or two. They will look for a little metal or plastic band that has a series of numbers and sometimes a couple letters, depending on what band they're looking at, and that helps them ID the bird all the way down to the individual. That information often is in a very large database that we use to help ID these birds, and we use them to identify how old they are if they were banded as a chick. We get to see when they were banded, where they were banded. For our puffins, it's often banded on one of the 3 islands here in Maine. However, for our terns, we occasionally have birds that have been banded in areas like Brazil or Argentina, and so they're long migratory birds, so that's always a fun find.
Hey folks, man, Roger, just hang on a little bit, be a little bit of a boat wait for this boat going by, so just be aware.
Your parents.
On either side. Question about our researchers. Our researchers, there's 4 full-time research staff on this island. They live here from early May till early August, and they stay all summer long. They do not come off the island for really any reason other than emergency. So they stay out here. They live on this island. So the Egg Rock Hilton that I mentioned, the cabin structure in the center of the island is where their kitchen is. They have a little dining room table in there as well as a desk for data entry, but that is not where our researchers sleep. They do sleep in tents. If you see green and blue tarps around there, those are some tents. Say hi to our researchers. They're very kind to wave when they're very busy, but we'll keep looking for some birds. If you're looking up at the top of these light-colored rocks, look for any of those birds walking around on top of those light-colored rocks. The light-colored rocks are where our puffins are nesting. So underneath those rocks, we have a lovely raft of puffins here on the about 9 o'clock area. Puffins, the occasional guillemot mixed in with them.
I got a question for you. Were any of